Craving sophistication? Introducing the newest lifestyle app on Roku. Dive into reviews, behind-the-scenes craftsmanship, and the secrets of aficionados. This isn't just an app, it's an experience. Download the app now on the Roku store.
Cigars are more than tobacco. They're tradition, craft, and community. Every person in this industry has a story, and every story deserves to be told. This is Uncut, the full, unfiltered conversations with the people behind the cigars you know and love. From brand owners and blenders to reps and lounge owners, we sit down to hear their journey in their own words. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on socials at CigarTV. And remember, cigar culture never stops. For news, updates, full episodes, and how to watch, visit CigarTV.com. Stay smoky.
Well, we're smoking this 35th anniversary, and it is piping. It's doing a fantastic job and tastes great, man.
That's awesome. I like the piping. I like the piping. That's like a new thing. You must be 26 years old.
Absolutely.
Let me call one of my kids real quick. I'm thinking that means it's amazing, right?
Yes. Piping, it's smoking.
It's on fire. It's badass.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what, man? This cigar, we didn't want anything for our anniversary to be super, super aggressive. We wanted something real, medium body flavor, but smooth, and I think that's what we were able to get out of it, and it's been very successful. I mean, with the first run that we did with these guys, they came in a humidor, so you had 100 cigars inside the humidor. We sold 500 of those at the trade show in the first 2 days.
Wow. And
then it was so successful, and people liked the blend so much that we ended up coming out with the release of the 10-count box in the different sizes. So we're excited, man. I think it'll gain some legs. I think the more people smoke it, I think the more legs will get behind it, the more word of mouth. Mm-hmm. We're not big advertisers, we don't do a lot of advertising and like Cigar Aficionado, places like that. We rather do stuff like that, like this with you guys, and do a little bit of advertising in some of the magazines that we're friendly with.
Yep.
But when it comes to the big guys, the amount of money they want for you to advertise with them, we rather spend those monies in other areas in the company, to actually get back to the consumer. Because at the end of the day, without the consumer, we ain't got a company. Mm-hmm. So that's always been our goal and what we thrive for.
Absolutely. Let's put Gurkha on pause for a second, and I want to learn a little bit about you. Let's start with your palate, man. We're talking about this gorgeous cigar, medium, a little bold. Talk to me. What does your palate call for?
Man, for me, it depends. The time of the day. Per se, usually I'm at the office, I'll smoke one cigar, maybe two. I don't smoke a lot in the office. I'm just really, when you're busy, you really have no time. Now, when I get home, and especially Thursday or Friday, I'll definitely, pop my bottle of Johnny or whatever I'm drinking that night, and I'll come out with, and it's funny, I don't smoke just my cigars. I tend to smoke everybody else's because I need to know what the competition is, right? And there's a lot of great ones out there, brother. And the one thing that I know is in the 27 years I've been doing this in this industry, there's really not a lot of bad cigars nowadays. Pretty much everybody's got they're on the top of their game because the competition's fierce. It's a lot of competition. Cigar humidors don't get any bigger. Our portfolios do, right? Because you always have to change with the times. Sizing, flavor profiles, mature palates, young palates, fresh palates. Mm-hmm. So that's what. But my palate, I'm more of a medium body, full flavor guy. I love my Gurkhas, I love my Padrones, I love my Plasencias. Those are my three go-tos. That's what I like to smoke. But I venture out. I smoked, Flor Dominicana if I want a real full body cigar. Yeah. And I smoke everybody's stuff. Right. I just do because we're all making great cigars, right? I tend to stick to 6x54, 5x52s. Every now and then, I'll venture into a little Lancero or a little Corona if it's a quick smoke. I love Lanceros. Unfortunately, our marketplace doesn't sell.
It's sad.
And we got to listen to our customers, right? So that's what we do. But yeah, that's pretty much where my palate's at.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier you've been in the industry for 27 years. First off, that's incredible.
Older than you are.
Yes.
You like them apples.
I'm young or old, I don't know what that makes me feel, but I'm right there, baby.
I know how I feel, old as shit.
Well, take me back pre-27 years. What were you doing before you got in the cigar industry?
Man, so I worked for an advertising company selling advertising to the automotive industry. Okay. So I used to go out there and literally in Miami, handled South Florida all the way down to Key West, and went to all the automotive malls and, Potemkin, Chevrolet, Ford, blah, blah, blah. And I sold advertising to them. Back then, I don't know what it is now, back then their budgets per dealership was about $1.5 million a month. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So it was a good money maker, but I got to the point that wearing three-piece suits in 98-degree weather with 100% humidity, brother, is no fun.
Right.
And I did that from 8, 9 in the morning because they start early till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And luckily I was still young, and I got pretty lucky. I literally hooked up with a Toronto family, Carlos Toronto family, and they gave me an opportunity to work. I was the first sales rep that they ever had in the cigar industry in 1996. Wow. And our first year, I think we sold about $150,000 to $200,000, and we ended up, somewhere in the $10 million neighborhood before the company sold to General Cigars. From there, I moved on to Rocky Patel, became their national sales guy, just literally training all their new reps that were coming in because he went from independents to in-house reps. So I trained a lot of those guys. I was there for about a year and a half, and then I saw, listen, great company, great family, great people. But I saw no growth in that company because you got the brother, the cousin, right? Blood thicker than water at the end of the day. And I ended up going with Gurkha. I had a great relationship with Kaiza Hansodia, the owner. We made his cigars at Toronto for many years in our factories, and it was a perfect fit. I was first their key accounts guy, or any account you haven't sold in so many years. Let me have them, I'll take care of it. And first year I sold over $1 million. I was his first $1 million sales guy. And 2 years after that, he made me National Sales Director, VP of the company. And here we are, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. I mean, we've grown the company 20-fold in 15 years I've been now with Gurkha, which can't believe it's 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no gray hair before, bro. And I had no belly either, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's a good life.
Yes, sir.
It's a good life.
Absolutely. Well, a lot goes into cigars from seed to where we're sitting now, and one of the most important pieces of that is what you started out doing, being a sales rep. And we have had the opportunity to sit down with a lot of sales rep, regional sales managers, and hearing their stories, being on the road hours after hours after hours, putting in miles. And your name gets tossed around a lot when I ask, who was your mentor question? So talk to me about that. Talk to me about giving back, I guess tutoring people in the industry, but also who were your mentors?
Man, for me, literally my mentor, as far as cigar industry, man, is just, I did a lot of homework. I did a lot of reading. I wanted to learn the industry because knowledge is king when it comes to such a small industry. It's not a lot of, there's history, but it's not a lot of like hundreds of years, thousands of years history in the marketplace. It's from 94, 95 when it boomed to now, right? So luckily I was in it already. So I was able to meet at Carlito Fuente in 95, 96, the Padrones, guys like that, the Plasencias. And those guys are mentors in a way because they drive me and they made me want to be a better salesperson. Well, my mentor in my life is my mother, hardworking woman, single mom. And she's what always driven me and to be the best that I can be and will be. And that's my mentor. But in the cigar industry, man, I would say maybe old man Carlos Serrano, God bless his heart. No longer with us. He always had a minute for me. And I start getting emotional and shit.
Absolutely.
I just do.
Yeah.
And he, always asked a lot of questions. 2 ears, 1 mouth. I asked and I listened. And he was one of my mentors. Charlie, his son, again, we grew up together as far as the industry, him and I. He's a little bit older than me by a few years, but, we learned from his dad. And I would say that was one of my mentors when it comes to the cigar side. Now, you go into the hard work side. My mother, when I went to Rocky Patel, Rocky is a very, very hardworking man in the beginning, still is, but in a different spectrum, right? He's now more focused on making the cigars are going out and things are happening and being the face of the company. But I remember running into Rock, all the time out in the marketplace doing events as an owner. Very few guys did that, and he did it. And God bless his heart, look where he is now. He's one of the top 5 manufacturers in the land. And then after that, man, just I've been fortunate. I'm a giver, man. I like to give back. I live a very simple. My thing in sales is simple. Get up in the morning, show up to the store, ask for the sale, follow up. If you do those 4, you'll succeed. And always under promise and always over deliver. If you do those things, you should definitely be successful. That where a lot of guys go wrong is that, number 1, they don't get up. Number 2, when they do show up, they don't ask for the sale. They just show up to show up. They market in their market as a visit. They're happy making their salary. When I tell my team, listen, if you're happy, your salary pays some of your bills. Your commissions and bonuses pay your lifestyle. You want to wear a Rolex, you want to have a nice home, you want to take your family on vacation, give your kids the best education. Hard work works all day, every day. And then once you learn the hard work works, it goes into the smart work works better. But that comes with experience, right? That comes with you doing all the hard work first. So that's always been my motto. I still live by it. I mean, you know my wife, and she's our marketing director. She's like, you're always working your ass off. You're always out there. I will need you home more often. But I truly, truly enjoy it because I love seeing guys like, you know, Mikey Denny that you told me about. You know, I somewhat mentor Mikey, you know, awesome kid, awesome young man, the man. Javi Carranza was my rep for, you know, he's now the VP of Placencia. You got guys, Charlie Watson, key accounts guy for Altadis. I got Will Jackson, regional manager for Rocky Patel. Who else? There's like so many guys that have been under me. It's funny because once they work, they don't work for me, they work with me. We work for one common goal, to make as much money as we can and be successful. We work together, right? So another thing that I go by is the word team. The word team stands for together, everyone achieves more, right? So I'm a big believer in that. And I try to pass that on to these guys, man. So it's funny, when you told me that earlier before we sat down, and you told me about Mike and some of the other guys, and you know, dude, they call me just to shoot the shit. I mean, they say, Juani, bro, this is happening. How will you handle it? I go, stay in the course, number one. You stay the course, bro. Stay the course. You know, keep your head down, eyes straight, and stay the course. Work hard, and good things happen, man. Like I said, the hard work works for me, and I think if people do it, it works for them as well. It's just, you know, maintaining the focus.
That's the drop of knowledge. Well, you're filled with knowledge and passion, but without purpose, the passion really makes no sense. So, you know, your wife's here. You've been mentioning your kids. You showed us pictures of your grandkid before, and that was awesome. I appreciate that. Talk to me about your family, man, and how they help keeping you motivated.
Well, man, that's my number one motivating factor, man, is my family. It's always been, like I said earlier, my mom is my driving force, because I know the struggle she went through to get us here from Cuba when I was 9 years old, you know, as a single mom. I always tell people, you know, when I meet, you know, I stay humble. I mean, I'm a little more of a you know, the guy with a nice shit. but I still remember the days. I always tell people, what's the best cheese? And they go, mozzarella cheese. I go, no, ma, it's government cheese. It comes in a brown box. And it's American cheese, right? And I remember the days that it was literally our morning was eggs with cheese. For the afternoon, it was wholesome bread with a slice of cheese and ragu for pizza. That was pizza with the cheese. And then macaronis and cheese. Everything had the government cheese in it, because it was like an 8-pound block of cheese that we used to eat, because that's what we had when we got here, right? And I mean, I played ball in high school, and my mother went to 2 baseball games, man, because she was working from 5 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. So, you know, she did all the sacrifice she did for my sister and myself, and I've done the same with my kids. So my daughters, I've been very blessed, because, you know, they have a great mom, great support system. But they always say, you know, Dad, I always say, you know, I'm a good dad, I'm a great provider. They always say, no, you're a great dad and a great provider too. But the one thing I never did was, you know, miss a soccer game, a volleyball game, or a tournament, birthdays, that kind of stuff I never missed. Was I gone 200 days out of the year? Without a doubt, for all their lives. So they got used to it, right? But they also got used to great vacations, you know, going to the best private schools in Miami. And now, you know, thank goodness, God bless, my first 3 college graduates, great jobs. My little one just started Florida State. Hopefully she'll stay the course and follow in her sister's footsteps. But that's, you know, my family, man, drives me, and success drives me. I like. Listen, I'm not rich. I do okay, but I've been poor, and I don't want to be poor ever again. Right. That's for damn sure.
I know that's right. Well, you said you stopped in here on the way to a little Cuban bakery, grabbed 3 loaves of bread. Take me back, man, when you were a kid. Obviously, the Cuban cigar culture is huge. Do you have any memories that just pop off the top of your head as a child around cigars?
Man, you know what? I lived in Havana. So in Havana, unless you're like the well-to-do wealthy, you're surrounded by that. My family weren't those people. Although my mom was a nurse, my uncle was a principal in a high school, my grandpa was part of the government for a while, but never big cigar smokers. I remember seeing old men in my block smoking cigars, but I left when I was 9 years old. But I knew that, excuse me, I knew that it's definitely part of the culture. but I was never really around it. And it's funny because people say, man, you have the pedigree. You know, your name Juan Lopez, it's actually a Cuban cigar called Juan Lopez. Okay. So I found out when I got into the business, but I'm like, yeah, I don't have any pedigree. I just love the industry, and I put my best foot forward to represent the industry as should be by working hard, you know, being knowledgeable and respectful of all my competition and people in the industry itself.
Absolutely. Earlier, you know, we talked about what Gurkha has in store for 2025. I want to ask you the same question personally. What does Juan have in store for 2025?
For 2025, man, hopefully spend a little more time home with my wife. We love to vacation, so more vacations. Vacations are good. I want to see my granddaughter grow up. You know, I'm missing a little bit of that in the first year and a half. Right. So I want to spend more time with her. I mean, I got to the point that, you know, Bianca and I were almost like, hey, let's sell the house where we live and buy a house down in Miami again to be close to her. But truth be told, that wouldn't change anything. I mean, if we wanted to see her, we'd take the hour drive, right? So it's you know, it's just, again, it's putting everything in perspective. So I think it's, you know, hopefully spending more time with the family. Definitely want my number one goal this year. And then after that, just continue to grow the company, continue to grow as a human, give back. I love giving back. Yeah, man, that's my end game pretty much every year.
Well, it's not every day that I get to talk to somebody in the industry that's successful. 27 years, once again, that's incredible. At what point, I guess, you know, there's a lot of young guys, right? They're just getting in and they're kicking, they're driving every day, hustling, right? Like you used to do back in the day, like myself. Talk to me, at what point do you start to kind of wind down? At what point?
So that's a great question. So I was at a cigar bar in Texas a few weeks ago, and I had this guy that's known me for a long time, well-to-do. He goes, hey, Juan, what's your final number? You know, and I thought about it for like 2 seconds, and I go, my number's always more. I'm driven by more. I want to keep moving. If I stop moving, man, I know me, bro. I'm gonna eat all those loaves of bread, Cuban bread. I'm gonna sit, watch TV, just chilling, drinking my Johnny, smoking cigars. I just want to keep moving. There's a lot of things I still want to do in the business. I'm only 53 years old, going on 54. Yes, I've been doing it for a long time, but I still have the passion. I like everybody else, you know, everybody hits a wall, and I hit the wall, then I went around the wall, I climbed through the wall, I broke through the wall. But again, the passion for the industry is still there. Now, at my age, after so many years and so much travel, over 1.5 million miles in planes, flying miles, not points, it gets old. I mean, my wife will tell you, in November hits, the batteries are low. The batteries are low. I'm like, you know, I can't wait for this 2 months to go by. And then I remember, I still got to hit this target with this guy in my team. So I got to go out to California for 10 days. I got to go out to Ohio with this guy for a week to try to help them to get to their number, you know, get their bonus.
The newest lifestyle app is here. Share the passion, the rituals, and the stories that bind us. From rare blends to legendary lounges, this is where the bonds thrive. Join us and add the app now on the Roku store.
And as they make money, I make money. And it goes back to the word team, right? Together we want to achieve more. And so yeah, man, that's, I think that once I stop doing this, I'll probably end up owning a cigar bar or something in the cigars because I love it so much. And I love the people, because it's the only industry that you could be sitting next to a guy that's unemployed, next to a rich guy, and they're enjoying the same exact thing, you know, which is the love of cigars. You know, and I've experienced it, I've lived it. And that's what I love about this industry. I mean, you don't see people chain smoking cigars. You go to a cigar bar, you don't see fights. You see people just shooting the shit, talking about cigars, their life, becoming family, really. In the regular bar, you go there, just drink beer, get fucked up, and well, guess what happens? You get into fights, people are smoking cigarettes, which I hate. And so it's a different animal altogether. So we're more of a lifestyle, cigars are, and just the great people you meet. I even told my daughters when they were growing up, in their early 20s, it's like, you want to meet a good guy? Go to a cigar bar. All those guys got money. You know, and I tell it to any women nowadays. I mean, those guys, most of the time, are very educated guys that want to get away. And the ones that are not educated, for them, so I break it down this way. For a guy that's well-to-do, he could afford a $25 cigar. The guy that's not well-to-do has a $5 cigar. But for that $5 cigar, the guy smoking the $5 cigar, it's a quick vacation from the everyday rut of having to deal with not making the money, not being able to provide, but it's his break for 45 minutes to an hour to just get away a little bit. For the guy that has all the money, man, money doesn't come by itself. You got to work hard to get to that money, and more money, more problems. Everybody knows that. But what happens is, and I seen it, that guy's now buying this guy $20 cigars because he can.
Absolutely.
And this guy appreciates it. And all it really does is drive this guy. It drives this guy to want to smoke that $20 cigar. How do you do that? By working harder, finding another job, another career, moving forward, So that's what I love about the industry, man. I think I'll be, God willing, man, I'll be in this industry for the rest of my life.
Awesome, man. Well, I look at those moments when I get that 45 minutes to an hour, I get to go to a lounge. It's my moment of Sabbath, right? Work hard, you finally get your moment of Sabbath. Sure, as VP of Gurkha, there's moments are far and few in between. Talk to me about what your job entails as VP of Gurkha.
Man, pretty much. It's a full blanket of, so if you take the V away from my title as a president, right? My president has been in the business 50 years. You met him, Jim Colucci. He's not gonna be the guy that travels. He's the organizer. The V before the P is me, which is me working closely with my marketing director, which happens to be my wife, making sure my team needs to do what they need to do to be successful, helping the company out with the blends of the cigar, since I'm out there so often and I know the industry so well, I'm the one that brings all that knowledge back, telling, hey, listen, these guys are doing this and it's working out. I think we should not copy it, or maybe make it better, or copy it, because when you copy somebody, it's flattery, right? And again, it's a very small industry. Everybody copies everybody. It is what it is. But I mean, to me, more than anything, is just being there for my team, making sure people are doing what they need to do, trying to motivate them. Listen, I'm easy to work with. I don't micromanage people. I always tell my team, I don't fire people. People fire themselves. If your numbers don't lie. If you don't hit your numbers, I'm gonna give you a break. I have one guy that I fired 3 times, literally, and now he's become my best rep because I knew he had it in him. He's just didn't have the drive in him. Now that he's a dad, now he's a little bit more driven, wants to make money, wants to provide for his kid, and that's, which is awesome. And I seen the growth. He still acts like a 12-year-old, but it's okay. You can't change that. But you see, you give people opportunities. So like, oh, you're gonna get fired. No, you fire yourself. I don't fire people. People fire themselves, man. It is what it is. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it entitles, man. Entitles a lot of babysitting. Yeah. To break it down into a lot of babysitting and a lot of travel, a lot of work.
Well, take me back 27 years to when you first became that sales rep. And for any people that want to become a sales rep that are watching this or want to get into the cigar industry, from that 27-year-ago mindset, what advice would you give them?
Oh man, it's funny because I still follow it. I still follow it. So when I got into the business, I was already in sales in the advertising. The advertising sales is so much tougher than cigars for one reason, because you got glorified general managers that were some guys that were just happy to have some money, open a dealership. Now they run the place and they're just not smart people, but they think they're they created bread or whatever, right? So you have to really grind with those guys. So I learned how to spin people. I learned how to read people. I learned to become a chameleon with people. I learned by listening, 2 ears, 1 mouth, by listening to people. I mean, I'll give you a good story that a lot of people are going to watch this in the industry that I've heard me say. I had an account, and he'll tell you, and he's a successful cigar shop in the West Coast in Arizona. His name is Mitchell Hirsch, Cigar King. He used to have a store in Skokie, Illinois, and I used to go to his store. I would fly from Miami to Chicago in the middle of winter. So here comes a Cuban guy, all tan, dressed nice, smelling good. And like, what the hell are you doing here, man? I go, I'm here to sell cigars. Because all the other reps in the territory are hibernating. They're sitting at home, getting fat, watching football, drinking beer, because there's snow on the ground. I don't give a shit. I'm driven. So Mitchell, I would go into a store for 6, 7, 8 months, every 2 months. And I go, man, when are you going to bring Carlos Toraño cigars? Man, we make great cigars. He goes, Juani, what do you mean, man? I do carry Toraños. At that time, we were making the CAO cigar for CAO. So he goes, look at all these CAOs that I have here. I go, yeah, man, but I ain't making no money on CAO. I sell Toraños, but the factory makes it. The Toraños make the money. Juan Lopez is not making the money. So I talked to his GM. After, I got smart. Talked to his GM, and I go, hey, Josh, what size is Mitchell? He wears Ferragamos. What size is he? He goes, he's a size 10 double E. Perfect. I go to Nordstrom's, buy a pair of 10 double E's, put 1 shoe in the box with a note. I got 1 foot in the door. If you want the other shoe, give me an order, and I ship it to him. The guy called me back. He goes, brother, unbelievable, impressive. I'll tell you that with that man, I've done probably about $20 million in business in 27 years. and he's one of my dear friends. And like that, stupid little things like that. I would also do, like, when I'll go to the stores, if I visit with you and you didn't give me an order or gave me an order, I'll sit in my car, write a quick thank you note, and I put it in the mail the same day. Now you see my name twice in 2 days. So it's like little things like that that guys don't do anymore, and maybe never did back then, that made me successful, selling a real small brand in Toronto, and helped to grow, Gurkha to where we are now. And yeah, man, along the way, I learned a lot of stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah, when was the first cigar you ever smoked?
So first cigar I ever smoked was Joya de Nicaragua. And I tell Dr. Alejandro Cuenca every time I see him, and he goes, I know, Juani, you're my cigar, the first cigar you ever smoked. It was a place, I was 19 years old. It was a place called Got a Cigar in Pier 66 in San Francisco. I used to travel to San Fran every summer because my aunt, uncle, and my grandparents lived out there. So my uncle would fly me out, and my cousins my same age, so we'll hang out, we get our bus passes and travel all over the place. So when we got of age, we went 18, I was 18 actually. We bought the cigar, we smoked it, I got green, because it was at that time strongest cigar in the industry, and to this day still one of the strongest. But that was my first cigar experience, and then after that, didn't smoke for a while, and then I'll dabble into it, like everybody else. Once you're in your early 20s, you dabble into stuff, right? But a cigar smoker per se, I was never until I got into the business.
So earlier you mentioned to me that the industry's flooded, and we're seeing it here as well. There's new brands coming out every day. People are kind of just throwing a ban on something and throwing it out there on social media, trying to get in some stores, and it's making the industry it's saturated now. It is very saturated. From a VP of a big company, Gurkha, in my eyes, a big company. What would you say to these people? I don't even want some advice, but what would you say to these small branches doing stuff like that?
Man, I would say, listen, the entrepreneurial spirit lives in everybody, okay? So if that's your game, to be an entrepreneur, God bless your heart. I know this industry. I have a business plan written out that I could do my own thing, but I know it's gonna cost me $2.5 million that I don't have. Now, could I make my own brand with 50K and sell $1 million? I probably can, because I know everybody. But the first sale is an easy sale. It's the second and third sale that's hard. That takes money, marketing, the right people, the right mindset. You don't fry and eat. You got to fry and put the money back into the business. A lot of these guys, that's why they're fly-by-nights. They'll make their money, they'll spend the money. Before you know it, they don't have a brand. They're no longer here. What happens to guys like us in our size company? Those guys are flooding the marketplace. You're always going to need the Monte Cristo, the Romeos, the Padrones, the Fuente. Those are staples in every humidor, right? Nationwide. We're the second tier. Then you got Fuente. You got Gurkha, Rockies, La Flor. Placencia is now going up to the first tier. But guys like that, you need. What happens is these small guys come in and give the house away because they want to take your space. Now, what retail's starting to realize after the fact is, yeah, if Juan Lopez comes in and it's a Juan Lopez cigar, which I can't sell because Altadis owns the trademark. I come in with my brand, and I'll sell you 5 boxes, and I'll give you 2 boxes free. What do I care? I'm a one-man show, right? But what happens then? If the cigar doesn't sell, how am I going to help this guy pay me? How is he going to pay me if the cigar is sitting there? That's what the small guys can't do, and that's what it hurts the guys like me, because instead of putting their money on the brands that do sell, they're giving this guy, a Juan Lopez, nice guy, entrepreneurial guy, an opportunity to get into a business that's really tough as it is, and it's a very crowded place as it is, right? But listen, I to anyone that wants to do and be an entrepreneur and start their own thing, man, I applaud them. It takes a lot of balls, all right? And look what you've done for yourself at your age. I've had the spirit, but I've been very fortunate that I've been very successful and I've done what I needed to do, not to really do my own thing, because I'm doing all right. but it's also helped me help other people get to where they are now, which is similar to where I'm at, and I love seeing that, right? And maybe one day I might do my own brand, maybe I won't, and if I don't, it's okay. I'm not gonna be upset. I've grown, I grew the Toronto brand, I helped Rocky a little bit, I grew Gurkha, and that in myself, I run this company as a VP, as is my own company. But I don't have the headaches that the owner might have, right? So I got a little bit of headache, small headaches, but it's called the babysitting part. Yeah. But yeah, so anyone that's entrepreneurial and wants to do their own thing, I wish them the best. I mean, I know a lot of the smaller guys that know me, I always try to help them, because why not? You know, that's just the way I am. And but the success rate, it's minimal. It really is.
Absolutely. So, you know, you just said it as well. You know, everybody has quality cigars now, right? Everybody's coming out with great blends, and the tobacco is just getting better and better. And things like you guys' packaging, people are coming out with creative, innovative ways to package their cigars. What is something that people don't think about or don't see to boost their brand and gain some more revenue?
Well, I think, I mean, in our industry, man, to get the consumer to be a loyal consumer to you, a following, you gotta do what like a JD did with Drew Estate, right? So JD, you build this platform of a lifestyle, right? He was different. You know, came out with the acid brand, the blondies, blah, 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 infused with whatever botanical oils, whatever they call it, created a culture, right? And a following. Now you got this guy that's, I think JD's probably like 50 years old. He's got 75-year-old men lining up in a line of 150 people to get his signature and a picture of this young man that just was different. So it's getting people to follow you, follow your culture, to make a difference hard because it's such an old school kind of industry that to be innovative is really, really hard unless you're a JD that's just a different cat altogether, unless you own your own tobacco where you could be a Plasencia and say this is organic per se. You say Fuente, oh, I got the Opus X, only cigar that's all Dominican Puro in the DR is my cigar, which is true. So that they got those angles. JD's got his angles. Guys like us is more of a packaging, giving back to the consumer a backpack because you know they love the Gurkha backpacks, they love the Gurkha kukris, that kind of stuff, right? So promotional items and stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's really not a lot more you could do. I mean, like what you guys are doing, man, and I thank you. I think this industry's needed this for a long time. You know, CigarTV kind of thing, because we all want to talk about our business and we want to sit down and teach young guys like you who want to learn our business about our business, right? And I think that you're going to be successful. I think you got a great thing going here. I think that's going to help us. It's going to help you. And I think it's a great avenue to get some of the young smokers that are always online to sit down and listen to some of these conversations that you're having with guys like myself.
Right, and what we're trying to do here is, match the brands to some faces, right? Hear some stories and gain some more connections. So when people do walk into Humidors, they're like, hey, I remember what Juan said. He taught me something, and let me pick up this Gurkha instead of something else.
That's cool. Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's the idea.
Yeah. So I guess as I got a couple more questions as we wrap up. One being, you keep throwing names out, Espinosa and a bunch of names, right? What would you just say to these guys? Obviously you guys have buddy conversation all the time, but not sitting in a room with them. If you could tell these guys something to keep them motivated, what would you say?
Oh man, I mean, listen, the guys who are in the game right now that started with me, the shorties of the world, Eric, I call him Shorty. Guys like that, dude, they don't need to be motivated, bro. They're driven by success. And their success is not just for themselves. Success is for the company, the brand, and the people that work with them. You have to remember there's a big circle of, when you're an owner, the responsibility is not just you, it's the other 30 people that work for you or with you, depending on the ownership. So I think that those guys don't need to be motivated. I think we motivate ourselves because we're such a small industry. I always tell people, cigars is like it's a freckle in an elephant's ass when it comes to an industry. It's a true statement. Yeah. I mean, you could sell marijuana and in a day you sell more marijuana than you do cigars in a year. Those are just real numbers. Those are facts. But we chose to do our industry, and we love what we do, and we love the lifestyle, and that's why, motivating factor for us, I think for a lot of these guys is the fact that they're providing for all these families as well. Remember, we're not just providing for families here. We're providing families in Nicaragua, Dominican, Honduras, Costa Rica, wherever tobacco is growing. As you know already, I'm sure you read up on it, it takes 300 hands to touch the seed to smoke to get this to the consumer. That's a lot of people. It's a big industry in numbers as far as people, but not in dollars. Because where we make the cigars, as you know, low resources, Nicaragua, Honduras, DR. But again, man, I think everyone in our industry, I would say 99% of us, it's the passion for the industry and the passion for tobacco and cigars itself.
Absolutely. Well, if you knew 1 million people, cigar smokers, were watching this, what would you say to them? Anything about your brand, about cigars in general, or just some life advice?
Yeah, I would say, definitely support your brick and mortar stores because that's a dying breed and those are the people that made this country. So it's okay to get a better deal when you go into online. I'm cool with that. But I'm a true believer in the brick and mortar stores. Those guys work their asses off. They employ a lot of people. As far as Gurkha, like I said earlier, we buy tobacco from so many different manufacturers that you're gonna have a different flavor profile in most of our cigars. Our cigar is not for everybody, but definitely give it a shot. I would also say try different cigars. There's so many choices out there. Don't get stuck on one because it's your favorite. Your favorite you smoke all the time, but every now and then, every 3-4 cigars, try something new, something different. Because they always ask me the question, what's your favorite cigar? I always say, it could be the next one I have. So I'll leave it with that.
Absolutely. Well, last question for you.
Okay.
What does a cigar mean to you?
Cigar means to me, man, reminds me of, it smells like success. Reminds me of relaxation. Reminds me of conversation. And reminds me of family.
Well, Juan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you,
us
my brother.
today.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
My name's Sean Mobley, here with Juan Lopez, Vice President of Gurkha Cigars, and you've been watching Behind the Blend only on CigarTV.
My name is Juan Lopez, Vice President of Gurkha Cigars, and you're watching CigarTV.
Slow down and savor the moment. The newest lifestyle app is finally here. We bring the art of it all to your screen. From lounges to master blenders, we feature it all. Find the app in the Roku streaming store and start watching today.